All right. Hello, everyone. Listen, welcome to this Thursday edition of Mental Health Matters with Marty. Listen, we had such a great time on Tuesday. I'm going to give some people some time to get in. Let me know you are in the house. Let me know you are in the house. We had such a great time on Tuesday that we are going to do part two of Tuesday's discussion when it talks about mental health and the Black community and mental health and Black men and mental health. May is what? Mental Health Awareness Month, y'all. And we want to get the message out. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we want to get the message out. So let's give some other people some time to jump in on this. Listen, like and share this immediately, because this is going to be like the discussion. We had a great discussion. And listen, ladies, if you're on there, grab your man. Grab some men, because we're going to talk about some heart-to-heart men's issues tonight. So we are so glad you're joining us again. that ain't the Rona either. Thank you for joining us with another edition of Mental Health Matters with Marty. May is the Mental Health Awareness Month, and we're going to jump right into some things. I wanted to do something different in the month of May. I wanted to bring other clinicians that look like us, because the conversation is there are not enough Black male therapists, or how do I find a therapist of color and all that. So all this month I'm bringing in therapists of color, Black male therapists, to let y'all know we out here representing. The Black male therapist is out here representing. We're doing our best to represent. And with that being said, we only make up 1% of this whole thing of therapy. So listen, you may have to look hard for us, but once we in the house, we are in the house. So again, so excited. Miss Rhonda, how are you, Rhonda? Okay, listen, I'm so glad to bring in my boy Johnny with me today. And so I'm gonna bring, without any further ado, Mr. Johnny. Hey, man.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm well. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Listen, man, thank you for coming on. Thanks for the invite and everything. Listen, tell the people who you are, what you do, kind of what your specialty is.
All right. So my name is Johnnie Geathers. Right now, currently, I'm a therapist with Family Links Incorporated. Within
Okay.
my position with Family Links Incorporated, I work in the therapeutic classroom model, which is where myself and three other therapists are connected to a school within the Pittsburgh Public School District.
Okay.
And with the therapeutic classroom, we do individual and group therapy with the students in the classroom. So
Okay.
along with therapy in the classroom, we actually, along with that, we work with the teachers and the school, well, the staff in the school to make sure the kids' needs are met so they could be able to transition from the therapeutic classroom back into the mainstream classroom.
Excellent. Listen, hey, Lynette, how are you? Listen, I'm just hollering at people as they come. It's good to see a Black male therapist in the classroom and in the public school setting. Yes, definitely, because as we know, a lot of our Black and brown boys get misdiagnosed, they get labeled, they get pushed to the back of the classroom. They're labeled as what are some of the labels that you see? I don't want to spoil it. What's some of the
Yeah,
labels?
so the labels I mainly see when I meet with the kids, more so the main diagnosis I normally get is ADHD, adjustment disorder. The thing is with ADHD, the diagnosis that mainly they give to the children nowadays is ADHD combined presentation. So with combined presentation, that's a mixture of both hyperactivity, impulsivity, and inattentiveness. They get the combined type. But mainly, most of the kids that I mainly see, they most likely will get the adjustment disorder diagnosis. And with
Okay.
the adjustment disorder diagnosis, the only subtype that most likely would get between that is the combined presentation, where it's mainly focused on their emotions and the experiences dealing with the emotions of their trauma.
Okay, excellent. Thanks for so tell me about who do you mainly see? Now I know who I think my own personal concept about that is, but tell me about what do your students look like? Let's go right there.
Okay, so well, surprise with me being in this particular position, I've been with Family Links for 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, well, this school year alone, it was of all boys in this classroom, all boys. The
Okay.
classroom I'm under the classroom I'm mainly particularly in ranges from first to third grade, but majority of the class is all African American boys.
Okay. Okay. Now we're talking. So with this, let's talk about our African American boys in a classroom setting. Now they've been labeled, misdiagnosed, and some of the diagnoses probably are accurate and all that, but they've been labeled with this ADHD, adjustment disorder, all these other things. Do you see anything with these oppositional defiant or anything like that?
Well, surprisingly, we kind of see some behaviors of kids that have the oppositional defiant disorder, but we don't label them as that because other underlying things that's in
Right.
there when it comes to doing that stuff. And that's the thing. I agree with what you say. Individuals do get misdiagnosed for particular things and stuff like that instead of getting to the root of what it
Yeah.
really is.
Yes. So with that, and I love that you said that you work closely with the teachers in helping them to get a better understanding. Because I'm of the belief of this. We have given ADHD a bad label because we think that they're the ones that's the most disruptive. They're the ones that can't pay attention. When in actuality, I like to think of those kids with ADHD as being the most gifted because they can do multiple things at one time. They can hear you, write a whole soliloquy, write a whole music track, write a whole rap, dance, color, and get all of it done.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, I see that. Like I mainly see that. I see that in the actual classroom with the
Right.
boys and such. And like there are some boys that kind of like say I don't want to do this work, or they'll roam around and stuff like that. But once you give them time, they could complete that work in like 2 minutes
Yep.
without no help or nothing. I'm like, wait, you did all this, but then you sit down and you completed a whole page of
Right.
math work without no problems.
Yeah. And so my challenge really is to this to the school system and parents. If you're out there, listen, especially if we're doing a whole lot of homeschooling right now, and so a whole lot of parents have been graduated, got their master's degrees and their BAs in becoming a homeschool teacher. We salute you with that and everything. But as you can see, these kids are so talented. Yes, in that, and with that, I challenge the teachers. Maybe you're boring them. Maybe we're not meeting their needs, especially boys. We can't tell them to sit down, shut up, be quiet, write neat, do this, instead of teaching them in ways that are going to meet them, that's going to learn. Listen, we cannot continue to have this 1940s style of educating our children in 2020 when all they know is this. Oh, where's my camera? Is this. Right. What are we doing to teach them about how to get on Google and then do our public schools have the necessary equipment to help keep them along and keep them engaged?
And the thing is, and the way I see it in terms of myself, even when I meet with the kids for individual and group sessions in the classroom, I mainly, when I do, because within my job, they have us do lesson plans within ourselves to say what we're going to teach our kids, within the group sessions and stuff like that, or what we're going to do, what activity or exercise we're going to do with our kids individually. So mainly what I mainly do is I mainly focus on putting myself in their shoes.
Right.
Like what would they like? What would they get out of it if I was in their shoes and stuff like that. Also, along that aspect, I look at it within myself. With me, I'm more of a person that like to be engaged, interactive, and stuff like that. If I feel like I'm not going to get engaged or interactive in anything, automatically I already know the kids is not going to get engaged into it. So it's basically, it has to be like a win-win situation. The kids got to be engaged with it, and also I have to be engaged with it. So I know, right? Well, I can be honest with everybody too. Like during with this whole COVID-19 situation, right now, my job is on a hold at the moment because with the schools being closed and everything like that,
right.
and stuff. I already know most of my kids, when I had to let the news tell them like this is happening and stuff like that, down to the families, they was all upset and stuff like that. And it kind of hurt me, kind of hit me more too, because I'm like, I have a relationship, not just with the kids, but I have a relationship with the families as well and stuff like that, especially with what kind of hits the most too is the third graders. Like our third graders that's in the therapeutic classroom, they transition to either go to another school that has a therapeutic classroom, or they go back to their mainstream classroom.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, I can't even say, goodbye or anything to my third graders that are supposed to be transitioning out. And majority of the kids that's in the classroom this past school year were mainly third graders. So majority of those kids is going out, and I can't even say, can't say goodbye or stuff like that. And normally what I normally do with them too is, which I was already planning it already for it, and everything was like squared away and stuff. Because last year what I had did with them was I had, like on Nickelodeon, you got the Kids Choice Awards. So last year I did that with them, where I had like created like a red carpet for them, and we had did like self nominations, and the kids had to vote on who they want to win and stuff like that. And they, the whole school picked on it, and they loved it and stuff like that. And I just started playing it for this year and stuff. But
celebrated their great, So I love it. You celebrated their greatness. You celebrated their abilities. You poured pot. I think we lost him. He'll come back, y'all. Well, while he comes back in, I want to bring back to it. Here he comes. Sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry, y'all.
Okay. Listen, what we doing? Listen, we got two other brothers in here I want to bring out of our virtual waiting room, y'all. This brother was with me on Tuesday. With us, so glad to have him come back on. Listen, join us up here, Thomas.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on?
Yes, you started some stuff on Tuesday that we had to come back and have part 2.
I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna be quiet.
Listen, we got one more. We'll bring in Jason Mahoney, who's with us on last week. Listen, Jason, what's going on, my brother?
What's going on, good people?
Yes. Listen, y'all, you got 4 black male therapists right here tonight, and we ain't charging. If we go 200, there's an $800 session that y'all getting for free. But we will take cash apps and everything else. Bring a brother off some money and some love so we can get Johnny some more business and get him some more supplies for them cheering up in Pittsburgh. So, yes. Let's talk about May is Mental Health Awareness Month, y'all. May is Mental Health Awareness. And I thank you guys for coming on, because I think it's so important that we show our community that there are some great black male therapists out there who's doing the work, because too often we represent 1% of the field, and too often they don't get to see us together. And more importantly, that we are not in competition with each other.
Right.
That in fact, y'all brothers, I love it now because I get to share with y'all. Y'all send me a text and make sure I'm up. Hey, brother, have a great day. You doing all right? You're getting your self-care in there. Y'all don't know, I appreciate that, because it keeps me motivated and going and all that. So that we have this brotherhood, even in this profession, that we can rely and lean on each other to make sure that we are, definitely we're taking care of ourselves, and that we are being ethical in all that we do as well. Another Thomas, come on, I'm gonna roll to you. Talk to me about May being Mental Health Month and all that, and what you like I said, you started some stuff on Tuesday night, my brother.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Thomas Davis. I am here in the lovely DMV, Washington, D.C. area, representing Maryland. So I just want to say happy Mental Health Month.
That's right.
We know that we're dealing with a lot right now with the pandemic, people trying to go out in Maryland this weekend. The governor has lifted the stay. So I would just encourage everyone to still practice social distancing. Stay at home. Mm-hmm. Have a barbecue at home. That's how you can still get your self-care. I just want to say that it has been a pleasure. There you go. There, that mask. Yes, sir. I just wanted to say that during this time, I just would encourage everyone to just take some time to reflect upon where you are as where you are as an individual, where you want to be, and how you want to go. We have the time, we have the opportunity, and it's okay to not get it right. You know, it's only May 14th. We got a few more weeks left in the month. We can still get it right. So take your time. No one is rushing us.
That's right.
Men, we gonna be here. We gotta just get it right. So it's a pleasure again. Thank you so much, Mr. Marty, for bringing me back so soon. And thank you everyone who has outpoured into all of us. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Jason. I mean, we all here. You know, there is no sense of competition. We all bring our different ideas, our own different flavor, our own different styles, and that's what makes this work.
That's right.
This is the counseling relationship right here. This is what you see. We are modeling what it means to work with one another. So
yeah, man, I appreciate you because I love it because you touched on something. We all have different personalities. We all have different strengths, and we pull on each other. So we help make sure that our clients, our patients get the best care. I love what Johnny's doing because I can't work with little children and all that.
Bless you, brother. Bless you.
Right. All this gray in me says, "Oh hell no, I can't do it." But you know, Johnny's a young man; he can handle it. Yes, Jason, talk to me. Talk to me. May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Absolutely. As everyone said, thank you very much, Marty, for bringing me back on. We had a really great dialogue the other day, last week, or what have you, and people are still constantly hitting me up. So thank you for this opportunity for us to work together. Jason Mahoney, I'm here in the great city of Raleigh, North Carolina, one of the fastest growing cities on this side. And my family's in the DMV, Tom, so I'm always away. For about 3 hours and 58 minutes away.
All right.
58 minutes.
Right. That was my sister's house, 3 hours and 58 minutes. But May is Mental Health Month. And so my specialty is I work a lot with trauma and then also do a lot of community outreach engagement and really working with a lot of organizations, specifically churches, to really help them become a trauma-informed organization, as well as to be prepared to serve families and individuals when they come to the organization from domestic violence, anything dealing with trauma. I want to be in the midst of it, talking about it, and helping individuals through that trauma piece. But you said something really important, Thomas. You talked about how there's no competition. It's all about working together. And when you were saying that, I thought about a band.
Right.
You know, if we're playing, if you're the flute player, you don't need to get on the clarinet. Right. Because in the clarinet need the flute as much as the flute needs the drum, and the drum needs as much as the string instrument. So I think, you know, it is one of those things is we work in our specialties, and you have one band, one sound. You know, kind of how we all work together in our own specialty, but we're making good music at the end of it.
Right. Oh, he pulling lines from Drumline. Yeah, okay.
All right,
one band, one sound.
He's the drum major.
Right. He took us back to HBCU. I didn't go to HBCU.
I haven't went to HBCU.
Okay, but you know, but see, this is my business partner, Tricia Pegues. Dr. Pegues talking about, oh, that's good. I can hear her right now. That's good. But you know, we said this thing on Tuesday, Thomas. We were talking about the importance of mental health, especially breaking the stigma, breaking the stereotype as it pertains to Black men seeking therapy.
Right.
And everything, you know, and I had someone, I hope he's on here, comment to me offline and talk about he went to a Black male therapist, but we as Black men, we have this kind of bad too. And he admitted that was his problem. He's definitely way over it now, but he then began to compare himself to the therapist. He didn't even divulge that, but what I love that he had an internal dialogue to himself saying, listen, I'm not being true to the therapist, so am I going to really get everything I need out of this? So that was a recognition that he needed some help. But he was a young Black male therapist in his 30s, and his patient was a young Black male in his 30s, and he felt like we do, wow, he's got his stuff together. I don't got my stuff together. He's going to judge me. What will he think about me? Well, I can't let him see this weakness in me because he's going to really think that I am weak or I can't get. Talk to me, y'all, in any order about the struggle that we as men have and how that is so wrong, not so far from the truth of that matter.
I think with us as being black men in a whole, we have this ego and pride within ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And within that, when it comes to the aspect of mental health, say for example, if I tell a black man, I think you need to go seek therapy, automatically that's going to be no, I shouldn't even have to deal with that, because they already have that pride and the stuff to say, oh, if I'm seeking help, I'm not a man. But we have to be able to tell, a black man that it's okay to go to therapy, it's okay to seek help. That doesn't make you less of a man. That makes you more stronger. That makes you more of a man, because you realize what your flaws, your weaknesses are, and you want to strengthen them up so you can be able to be a better man.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Thomas, go ahead.
So I concur with everything that you said, Johnny. I think you're spot on. I think one of the things that we tend to do, I don't know who all remembers this book, but we used to read this poem called "We Were the Mask." And I think sometimes we as men, we wear masks because that's what we are taught to do. Men are taught not to show emotions, deal with it. You deal with it internally. But internally, as I stated the other night, when Marty talked about this soda can shaking, eventually we are inside of this body, but what's inside is going to eventually go outside. So I would just say, you are right. We as men have to understand that we have problems. We have challenges.
Right.
This morning, and I just was not feeling doing anything.
Right.
And I had to make a decision. Am I going to stay in the bed, or am I going to get up and do my job? And so sometimes it takes small things. Like I had to pick up the phone and call my mom. Hey, Mom, how you doing? And check on her. And just hearing her voice sometimes gets us started. So it's about finding what works for you as a man. It could be getting up in the morning and working out. It could be getting up in the morning doing some type of a meditational activity.
Right.
Or it could just be getting up and getting out of the bed.
Yeah.
That's the start. And so I think we as men, we put so much pressure on ourselves because we think we are doing it for us, but in reality, we're trying to please somebody else who really don't matter to us, as a person. So
no, I love that, because we have to learn as men to celebrate the small victories that we have as well.
Right.
We're so used to scoring the touchdown, but if we back on the 20, trying to get down there, what is that? Let's move the chains. Let's just get the chains moving in our life.
Right.
Yeah. In that analogy with that, I'm gonna coin that. The soda can syndrome. Jason, talk to me, Jason.
So I'm actually going to go at it from a different angle, and so we all kind of talked about. In ourselves, finding that strength to get up and seek services and seek help and do what we need to do. So I agree with that. And I'm going to look at it from the perspective of, because we know that there are people that need help, we have to position ourselves to be approachable to help people. And so I think sometimes when individuals, we know that people have those struggles. It's evident that we have the struggle. We always want to compare ourselves to somebody else. We always want to saying, have I met that mark? But you said Thomas, you were able to pick up the phone and call your mom and talk to your mom.
Right.
So your mom she's done something. She set up an atmosphere where she's approachable. She set up an atmosphere where you can talk to her about anything. She set up an atmosphere where it is non-judgmental, and she's going to be there, be there for you. And I think sometimes people do not seek help because who we're seeking help from is not setting up the atmosphere to be approachable or to ask questions. And so I think, that's, if we look at it from that lens, the lens of, am I an approachable individual to serve somebody? And always say, I can't serve you if I haven't loved you.
Okay.
And so are we approachable to serve? So yes, that person does have to have that inner strength to get up and do something about it. That's just one piece of the puzzle. Let's say I'm strong enough to get up in the morning to do what I need to do. and I reach out for help, but who I reached out to help, or the agency I reached out to help, or the person who I reached out to be my clinical person,
Right.
is that approachable person,
Right.
that just now pushed me back again. So how do we set up ourselves in May as Mental Health Month to be approachable to serve other people?
Right.
That's
Right.
good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a comment here from Tricia says, we live in a society that constantly tells you that you're not enough. Then when you do rise and make significant accomplishments, you are hindered or stalled from greatness because society fears your greatness. Whoa, someone comment on that one. Come on, Thomas, I see it.
So when you say the word fear, is it fear or is it jealousy?
Mm.
Good. Or is it both?
That's good.
Or is it a combination of, I see this man doing great things. I never had no one, as you said, Jason, that was approachable enough to guide me and push me into where I see that this man is. So I do agree with that. I do agree wholeheartedly with that word, because it's definitely a little bit of both. Because I think we have our gifts inside of us, but I think we are just scared to just go out and try it and take a risk.
That's good. That's good. Because how many men, one of my favorite poems is Raisin in the Sun, and how our dreams just, let's say, like a syrupy sap, or just explode. Right. How many Black men dreams have exploded, going nowhere, because no one's been there to nurture them. No one's been there to care for them. No one's been there to say, hey, it's okay. Or as Jason, you said, to be approachable, to show another brother man love, to show them support. And I think it starts with what Johnny's doing in the elementary school.
Absolutely.
We as men of color, or we as a man, period, working in those elementary schools, that is a very critical point for our young men and for our young boys. They need to know that it's okay to walk up to Mr. Johnny and say, hey, Mr. Johnny, how you doing? And you fist pump him, or you give him a side bump. Because if we don't teach what's appropriate at age, they're going to learn it from outside resources that may not be in their best interest.
Right.
So you are in a perfect avenue and in a perfect arena for you to forgive and mold them and guide them to where they want to be. Not change who they are, but shape and guide their thoughts.
Yeah. Johnny, do you guys have the Watchdog program? Have you heard of Watchdog?
No, I never heard of that.
I love it. When my son was in elementary school, we found out that there, of course, like in any school, there's a lack of presence of men, of dads and everything. So Watchdog was dads of great students.
Right.
And so what they did, they said, we need all the dads and fathers to come up on the women that have Monday Night Football, and we're gonna feed you. Now they just gave us 2 hot dogs that was on the grill and a bottle of water. I'm like, this ain't feed. But then at halftime, they turned the game off and said, on the walls there are a schedule. We just need you to take off use one vacation day and come up to the school and just volunteer. Do you know in less than 15 minutes, they had the whole school year filled? Wow. With dads volunteering. Even if it's not the dad, it can be an uncle, it can be a big brother. We need male presence on the school.
Absolutely.
And what happened? And listen, I was so dog tired when I got done because they had me out there with the kids. I was on the playground. Watchdog push me. Watchdog play with me. Watchdog eat lunch with me. I couldn't wait to get home.
And the crazy thing about that too is it is important for parents to be involved with their kids a lot. And with my experience working with the kids in the school setting, I noticed it a lot when it comes to kids where their parents are not involved as much. So like, for example, when the school hosts award ceremonies, Christmas concerts and things like that, or even in our classroom, which I hosted every year, every time during our post like Thanksgiving time, where we have all the parents come and we have them take a view of the classroom and see what the child was learning so far in the classroom. and we invite all the parents to come. But then you have a few parents that don't show at all, and it hinders the child. It hinders the child. It hinders the child.
Talk about that even more about especially as how many fathers did you see show up?
Oh, none. Well, no, I won't say that. I'll say like two. I'll say two, but majority is mainly the mothers. The mothers will show, and mostly the kids in my classroom right now, they're in a single parent household,
right,
and stuff. But then also I have one child that's their father is the only the only caretaker, but then there's moments the father don't be involved. And the crazy thing about it too, in that aspect, is that all the kids in the classroom, even though majority of the kids I have is African American, I do have, Caucasian and stuff like that, which the diversity is in that classroom. But the crazy thing is every child in that classroom kind of looked up to me as like their dad. Right. in the school, they like call me like, oh, you're my, and most of the kids, they would say, you're my dad. I'm like, why you think that? And they say, because you treat me as something that kind of wish that my father would treat me like. And I kind of like, wow, that's touching. But then it also shows how there's a lack of fathers in a man, like a child, a male's life.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
So Johnny, if I can tag on to kind of something what you were saying about how do we get back to that community approach.
Right.
I think there's so many policies and procedures that are hindering people to actually do that work that they want to do, that work that they're passionate for. And so I often like to use the analogy. So you're doing a really great work in the classroom. You're really teaching these young men and these young ladies or what have you in the classroom. But then they go home to a family that is not pouring in. For example, if you're teaching a child to read in school, when that child goes home, and if the parent does not know how to read, then it's kind of like you got to start all over again. So I'm all about how can we engage the community? How can we engage faith-based organizations? How can we do a village approach to make sure that our children are going to be successful? So when you talk about the young people who have the academic performances and those kind of things, I can imagine how a child is feeling that everybody else's parents showed up, but my parent didn't show up. Right. So how do we go back to that grassroots of because I knew when I grew up, when I went to school, the teachers knew my mama, knew my dad. So I already knew if I got in trouble by the time I got home, they already. I remember cutting school one day, and my mom was like, "Such and such saw you on 521." I was like,
"Right."
But how do we get back to that community approach where what you're teaching the young people in the classrooms when they go home, if that parent can't read or that parent doesn't have access to the services, how can that community or that, because there's a church on every corner. So how do we help those churches or the community teach also what the school is teaching? Because they can say things we can't in the professional world. They can go against the policies and procedures to serve that family to an extent that we can't.
I'm loving this comment that I see on the screen.
I know, I just saw it too.
If I may, I want to tag on to what Jason said. Then I want to tag on to this. What you said, Jason, is great, and it's something that we as therapists do. It is a technique and skill that we do, and it's called collaboration. So to add on to what you're saying is we have to collaborate. Who is your network? Who is your informal and formal support? Right. Your informal supports could be Joe on the corner that's selling the rock. So if he's going to teach you how to count,
exactly,
that is your informal support. I'm not saying that that's right, and so I don't want anyone saying that Thomas is endorsing this. But
I hear you.
You got to
speaking good
where they are.
Right.
I was just about to say that.
You got to meet them. And also to what the young lady stated, that happens a lot. Most kids are in single parent households. Whenever I work with them, they have so much anger about their father not being in the home. I am a product of a single family home.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I was blessed with, and I had a family that will always tell me, because I was angry too. I was an angry black boy, mad. My daddy gone. He didn't teach me how to play football, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
But I had someone in my family that would say, whatever happened between your mom and your dad, you can't own that. Because
Right.
there are things that probably has taken place that you didn't even know about.
Right.
Did I get there at age 13? No. Did I get there at age 22? No. It took me a while for me to get to the point of accepting the things that I could not change back in the day. But if I had stayed in that bubble, and if I didn't have those mentors that talked to me and said that 30-minute stutter, as I said the other night, if I didn't have the community, the church, everybody that was pouring into me, then I would still be that young man that she was speaking about that is inside of her classroom. So it's very important for us as Black men, and Johnny, and both of you all are in that great opportunity. We work in a school system. I work in a school system. Men, single parent men, do not like it when John comes home and says, yo, Mr. Davis taught me how to do this. Mr. Davis taught me how to do that. They are quick to come up to the school to see who is this man talking to my son. So what we have to do working in the school system, as you said, we can only do but so much.
Right.
We think what the need is, Jason and Johnny, academic, attendance. We know some of our kids don't come to school, right? So what do? Breakfast with dads. Don't with dads. Let's get them in the building, talk to them about the attendance. But while we have you here, let's talk about things that can help your kid.
That's it.
Taking advantage of it. Now, and the thing is too, surprisingly, I actually had to deal with this one child, where the father is the main, caretaker and stuff like that. And I was working, the actual child was telling me how he was actually feeling about his dad and stuff. And it showed through his, his behavior and stuff. It's real smart, everything. But his behavior had changed from, the past year. And I said, something ain't right and stuff. So once I started talking with him more, that's when he was talking about things about his father and stuff. And then that led me to the point where me and him talked about dig deep into his relationship with his father. And then once he was telling me more things about it, that's when I got involved and say, you know what, we're going to have a family session with your dad. So I had got the dad, even though right now with his father had like transportation and stuff like that, but we still made it an effort where I actually called him each time I had met with that child individually, and we had a phone session and we talked about the things that need to be addressed and stuff like that. And actually, when we had the sessions through the phone, I actually sent material home with the child to his dad so they could practice it at home as well. And then along with that, I follow up with the child, ask him, did y'all review, the things that we discussed over, over the phone and stuff like that. Let me, be honest, let me know about it, about what, what it is. And I agree with Thomas. We do got to meet the parents where they are and stuff like that. And also, if the parents don't want to, don't even have the access to even, come to the school or stuff like that, we could also reach out to, this is why we have like emergency contact. We reach the emergency contact person, or if the person has a service coordinator, reach out to the service coordinator and stuff like that. So if we can't meet up with the parents, there's other platforms where we can meet the child where they need, where the child is needed and stuff like that, and trying to see if everybody can come together and network, make sure that child gets what they need.
I love that, thinking outside the box, because our children deserve that. When kids feel and know that their therapists, that their teachers, that their principals, that their parents are all rallied together for them, what a difference we make in their child's life. In that, with that, in that. Listen, Rhonda, Rhonda, I'm putting you up because I love you, girl. Since I've been watching the series on Michael Jordan, y'all, if you haven't been watching that series is so dope. The episode where Michael was on the floor crying after his dad had died. Our young boys are crying. just like that every night, because no man involved in involvement, even our adult men, that's so good, are crying like that every night. That's so true with that, because there is power. Research already shows that when a father is involved, and we have to, that's a whole nother topic, y'all. Talking about, so y'all got me going here. We gotta have blended families and have amicable and co-parenting type of things, and that women cannot use, women, I'm saying this, yes, I'm saying it, you cannot use the children as pawns against their fathers, and you cannot use the children against their fathers if he's late, if he has not paid his child support. Child support and visitation are two separate issues in two different courts, and quit trying to mix the two. Men, learn what your rights are. Listen, go visit that baby. Go see that son. They need you. Yes, because we ever saw the statistic, y'all can see I get passionate about that. Okay, let me get back.
Breathe.
Yeah, breathe. But statistics show that when fathers are involved in their daughters' lives, how their math and science scores increase a whole letter grade just by their fathers being involved. It didn't say about, now just imagine if fathers would read to their children, their daughters and all that. And also the pregnancy rate drops. Right. In that. And then when fathers are involved in their sons' lives, we see not only do the likelihood of their getting involved with marijuana or anything else decreases, but they're more likelihood to increase their, believe it or not, their reading scores and all that increase. Isn't it funny how those are on opposite sides of the stream? Because I believe it feeds the other side of their brains.
Right. And it's right.
So all good information. And I just want to go back to that village, that ground zero. And so all of us have really good information. And so kind of two things, as Johnny was talking about the advocacy that he did for that young man in that classroom. How many young people or adults are in the same situations, but do not have Johnnies in their life? So they don't have Johnnies or Martys or any of us advocating out there for them. What do we do? And then the second question I have to anyone that's listening is, how do we mobilize our communities? How do we get to a community approach where we're actually having literacy programs in our community? We're actually having, because again, we're doing these things, a lot of the work through our careers or what have you, but how do we mobilize communities? How do we build up our communities, our community centers? Of course, I can go back to our faith-based organizations. Miss Jenkins on the corner. How do we build that community back to where we are doing the work in the professional arena, but we also have champions, or what I call moles, in the community that is saying, hey, Johnny, can you come to XYZ location and teach us how to build this program in our community so our children can be successful? And I think that's where a lot of times we're missing the mark, because we're not doing community development, economic community development within our communities. Far too many times we serve, and we do a good job serving, but when it comes to helping to change the community, because I think you can change a community, but the community must be ready to change. And so how do we get the community to, number one, accept the fact that the facts are the facts. The facts are the facts, that, single parent household. Even like with COVID-19, how we're being impacted as, African Americans with COVID-19, the fact, we struggle with PTSD, all these things we struggle with. So the data is there, the need is there. So how do we mobilize community leaders to truly address the need? And when I talk about community leaders, Marty, I'm real hard on the faith community, because that's where the majority of us go. So how do we mobilize, community leaders to truly start doing services in the community and not dependent on the dollar? Far too many times we hear people say, well, you know what, we don't have the money to do it. Fannie Lou Hamer did not have any money to get those people to go vote. Harriet Tubman did. She had people along the way to a community pro. So when people say they don't have money, you don't need money to teach somebody how to read.
Right.
So how do we mobilize the community?
Yeah. So if I'm hearing you correct, Jason, and you are speaking good tonight.
Yes, he is.
And
I'm a little smart, not too much.
As we talk about, like,
y'all country boys.
As we talk about, like, May being Mental Health Month and everything that you said, I want to bring it back to some key points.
Yeah.
There was a reader that said earlier that this is user friendly. You was talking about time. Mm-hmm. You were talking about being available. You was also sharing that the importance of using your resources that you have access to. Mm-hmm. So it's accessibility, it's time, and it's being present. Mm-hmm. But we talked about single parents tonight, but I kind of want to put a twist to it. As we said the other night, let's shake a little tree. Mm-hmm. What about our families that have a mother and a father?
That's good.
And on the outside, it looks great.
Right.
But then when you walk in the house, you got the person decide to go on the chair trying to get dad's attention, but dad is on the phone or he's doing something else. So how is we as Black male therapists, how can we empower our men to be present? Because we always talk about the single parent syndrome. We know what that is. Right. But we never really focus on the fact that we have parents inside of the home that are still not available. Mm-hmm. They're still doing the same thing that's actually happening in a single parent home. So as men therapists and as male therapists or male coaches, so let's take the word therapist out.
Right.
Coaches, as homies, how can we empower our young men to still be involved in our kids' life?
Mm-hmm. That's good.
That's good.
Yeah, and I think it's just, I think you said it right. One of the statistics that, y'all, I love stats because it just shows somewhere to ground level somewhere with that. I think it's like all of us have been alluding to, empowering where we are at in our homes first, getting information in our homes first and foremost. How do we make platforms available? How do we say, hey, we have a therapy service around the corner from your house or 5 miles from you, or everybody's using Zoom and Skype now. Listen, you ain't got to leave your house. We can come into your home electronically and virtually these days. Right. And how, especially with Johnny, oh my God, Johnny, they ought to give you a tip and a raise. For what you're doing, coordinating, and y'all, Kim Williams is another therapist out here in the LA area. Love what she does. But even making our services available. And then I challenge the churches, the faith-based organization too. Listen, you got a building. Most of us got buildings that sit dormant Monday through Friday. They come open for Wednesday for prayer meeting, for maybe if you have a Wednesday night service, maybe choir rehearsal on Thursday, and maybe on Sunday. With that, but you got that. That's a great place. You got classrooms. You got something. You can have bring in all the retired mothers or something. Bake them babies some cookies and milk and give them a snack, and then teach them and read to them.
And you have a van that you can go pick them up, a van and a bus. So faith community. We got to do better.
We got to step up. Yeah. So and I say that because all of us are faith based anyway. So I don't have my T-shirt on today. I can pray and see my therapist all at the same time. Johnny, come on, talk to us. What else can be done?
I think what else can be done within the aspect is still, mainly still push it out. Like what you say in terms of churches, still push it out and say that it's right. It has to be known. Like I'll say, for example, within my home church is in Philadelphia. And when I had joined the church, when I had joined that church in Philadelphia, I actually asked about if there's a mental health ministry in the actual church. And they said, yeah, there's mental health ministry, but there's nothing being done. So I said, you know what? I said, I have an idea. This is what I want to do. And I say, even though I'm in Pittsburgh, I can still do this and still be on it and stuff. And now I'm thankful for it because it's been a year now that it's been happening. Every month they drop a mental health. Every month I send to the church a mental health memoir. So what I'll do is I'll pick a theme for like a month. I'll pick like a scripture, use that scripture and tie it to how that scripture relates to mental health, and also provide tips on how to deal with that, that theme when it comes to mental health. And what the church does, the church actually would share it out on their social media platforms and spread it out and stuff. And I was like, and even when they share it out, I share it out on my personal platforms and stuff like that. And I put it in my social work groups and stuff like that. And one group that I'm a part of on Facebook, most of the Black male therapists in that group, they was like, wow, your church let you, do this? And I say, yeah, because I asked for it. I asked for it, and they was receptive to it. And I was thankful for it because it shows that in any particular area, mental health does exist. And that doesn't mean that mental health is its own entity. Mental health is a system. And I learned this in grad school. The first thing I learned when I first came to Pitt in grad school, they said everything works as a system. Everything works as a system. So if one part of the system crashes, everything crashes. That's our mental health. So our mental health is our emotional, our behavioral, and our well-being in a sense. So if one part crashes, everything else is going to crash. So, and that comes into relation with everything else, right? In nature. So it has to be brought up, and it's important. And I say, with us as being, therapists, us being, I don't even say that along what you said in terms of therapy, mainly as us being change agents. Yeah, we still push it out. I say still push it out. And even with me, I know Thomas is an alpha. I'm an iota. I push out my organization, and I still do community work within my organization and stuff to still push out. To still push out mental health and stuff like that. So I use all different platforms to say that it exists, and we need to address it. Not even go deep into it and share my story in terms of how I actually, even though I'm a professional, I've dealt with some mental health issues within myself. 2018 going into 2019, I suffered I had 3 seizures. Wow. 3 seizures out of nowhere. I had an emotional breakdown in which my mom, she's on the live watching it herself. I had an emotional breakdown where I had to release some things that I was hiding within myself. Wow. And stuff like that. And once I released those things that I was hiding within myself, as it relates to how things was growing up, I wasn't a bad kid and nothing like that growing up and stuff, but I hid some stuff until it got to that point when I got sick. I had to say, you know what, it's time to release. Once I released it out, I felt like a cleanse. I felt a cleanse, and things just, started opening up and stuff like that. And I said, I went through this for a reason. I'm in this field for a reason. I'm in this field for a purpose. So it's time for me to be able to share it, share what I've been through and share it out to others, regardless if it's at work with the kids I'm working with, regardless if it's with my fraternity brothers, regardless if I'm out in the community doing these different things, I'm still going to, bring it out and show it out. So I say, for us in general, we still push it out. I say still push it out. I said still push it out. Because there's some people that will backslide it and say, okay, all right, we let you do it, this, that, and the third, you promote it, and you only got like 5 people coming.
Don't give up.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt. That's a hurt piece. When you promote stuff heavy, and then only 5 people show up, but then if you throw in a party you got a thing lined up around the corner for a party.
Or if you throw on a gospel concert, it's gonna be packed.
Yeah,
from
yeah.
But if you throw a workshop on how to improve your credit,
right,
you might have 3 people that want to improve their credit. So it's so interesting. I think it goes back to priorities.
Right.
But I like the point that you brought up to say if 5 people are there, that's good because those are the 5 people who are supposed to hear that message at that given time.
Yes, I love this comment that we have right here. It says, "Blessings, so excited to hear these young Black male telling their stories and reaching out to help others." And that's what it's all about.
There you go.
For us, sharing our stories, sharing what we've gone through, so that to encourage someone else along the way. That listen, we've gone through it, and wow, Johnny, you keep blowing my mind, man. Stop it. You went through seizures and all this, and still out here proclaiming. Right. Gospel of the mental health therapy. Christ was a CBT, cognitive behavioral therapist.
Right.
And I think so is he. So he's just doing cognitive behavior. That's all it is. Listen, yo, I don't want to keep everybody up here all night. We can go on with that. Listen, I can't thank you, brothers, enough for coming on here and just sharing and pouring of your heart. With this, y'all. This is $1,000 session that we gave y'all for free. It went up.
We gave them a mini conference. a mini conference.
Right. Johnny shared his testimony, so it went up $200.
Right.
Listen, Johnny, how can they catch you? Where can they reach you in case someone wants to reach out to you? And because you got lots of ideas, my brother, we need to hear more from you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so everybody they can reach out to me on Instagram. My Instagram is JG the Mastermind. Also, what I want to pull out there, even though right now with everything being on hold with my job and everything like that, at first it was a hurt piece in the beginning, but then I was like, you know what, I'm still gonna push it, still do what I got to do and make it work. In which I had started last month, and it's been a month now. Every Friday on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, I do JG Mental Health Fridays.
Oh, yeah.
So every week I come up with a different topic. I give my own synopsis of a topic, and I provide a coping exercise that everyone can do, from a child to an older adult, that they can do. And also, I also even tell people if they have any words or topics that they want me to address on JG Mental Health Fridays, they can do that as well. And I just thank everybody, for the support of it, because it kind of keeps me going to say I'm still doing, still doing my passion. I'm still doing my gift despite what is going on and stuff. So I'm just appreciative of that.
Man, you've encouraged me not to let anything stand in my way.
Right.
And what you are called to do. I agree with you, Kim.
I already know when this is all over. I already know they're gonna say, "Yep, we're ready. We ready for you to come back." It's gonna be needed. The kids are gonna need it. The kids are gonna need it heavy, especially when it comes to that education piece.
Yes. Thomas, how can they get a hold of you, man?
You can follow me on social media, which is listed as Limitless Possibilities for the number 4 you on Instagram. And on Facebook, Thomas Davis, LPC. And my website is www.limitlesspossibilities4FORU.com.
Wonderful. Thank you, my brother. Jason T. Mahoney, the Jason, the motivator.
Cool deal. This was really good. You can actually reach me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jason T. Mahoney. You can put in Jason T. Mahoney, the motivator, or just Jason T. Mahoney. You can find me, or you can go to my website at www.jtmahoney.com, or you can just put in jtmahoney.com and I'll pop right up.
Wonderful.
Listen, Marty, if I may do a 5-second plug.
Go ahead.
Our listening audience, transparency is what we as Black male coaches are. This is the first time that any of us outside of Marty has really seen each other.
Right.
And if you notice, we start off slow, but we feed off of each other's energy. That's how you can be with your sessions. That's how you can be with your coaches. That's how you can be in life. Find somebody that you can speak with and trust, and just let it flow.
That's right.
In your own way. Thank you, Marty.
Yeah, no, I thank you guys. Listen, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much. So listen, don't go anywhere. I'm going to close and then get right back with you guys. Okay.
All right.
Thank you much. All right. Thank you. Listen, y'all, I hope you have enjoyed our session today with Mental Health Matters with Marty. I am so excited about these brothers. Listen, they spit out some great information and everything. But listen, I am so excited. Less than a week away is the official launch of my new podcast coming up, Mental Health Matters with Marty, starting on Wednesday, May 20th. Listen, the trailer is already on Spotify. You can check it out there. We got so many exciting things going on, and registration has begun. If you haven't done it, listen, you can definitely register. How do you register? By texting I Matter to 31996. Again, text I Matter to 31996. And then don't forget, save the date. This launch party, for this virtual launch party, is going to be off the chain. We got some surprises for you that I can't even share till you got to come back on. We're going to be doing a Facebook Live launch party on Friday, May 22nd here at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Yes, that's late for y'all on the East Coast, but it's Friday night. We quarantined, so you ain't got no place to go anywhere. So you might as well go on and get turned up with me on that night. But we appreciate you so much. I cannot thank Jason and Thomas and Johnny enough for coming on. I wanted to show and bring something different to you in the month of May, and this is mental health awareness, that there are some amazing therapists out there, and I want to expose as many of them to you as possible, because again, we don't want you to suffer in silence, but we want to stop the stigma that's going around about mental health, especially for mental health. Today's focus is on Black men, and I love it that we talked about our young Black boys as well, because you cannot leave them out when we're having this discussion. Again, we want you to speak up, speak out, and live. Until next time, who knows? We might be on tomorrow. Who knows? I might be back up on Sunday, Saturday. You never know. Stay listening. Stay tuned. Listen, I love you. Be safe, and we'll see you next time. Take care now. Bye.